that he's imparting to this elite generation. I really believe that this generation is a very special generation. No matter what the world says and no matter what other people say, we have a special mark on our lives. So many people have friends that are not saved and friends who are depending on us to do the right thing. And the moment we fail is the moment they will not want to consider being saved. And so the pressure is on and the heat is on, and they want to know if God is really real, if there's really a true relationship in the lives of believers. And this is why God has preserved each and every one of you throughout all the temptations and the pressures you've been under. Can I get anyone to admit that you have been preserved? I need just about 100 people to just look at somebody and tell them, God preserved me. You don't have time to testify about everything, but you really know without a doubt that your life was preserved. We live in a time when we are bombarded with reality shows. Many of you watch reality shows instead of going to Bible study. Many of you watch reality shows instead of going to those Sunday night services. Some people watch $25 million hopes. Some people are watching 30 Seconds of Fame. Other people are watching The Amazing Race. Some people have American Idol on the television. You know, what's that you recorded? You can sit in church. Your DVRs. Yeah, I told you you have that. Some people are America's Top Model fans. Some people are fans of The Apprentice, or fans of The Biggest Loser. Some of the older folks are big fans of Deal or No Deal. Other people are dancing with the show So You Think You Can Dance. And other people are watching Sunday's Best. And other people are watching other shows, and the list goes on and on. And one of the numerous shows that has grabbed me as I've watched a few programs a few months ago was the show The Contender. Anybody ever seen The Contender? Contender, that's produced by Mark Burnett and hosted by former boxer Sugar Ray Leonard. The show follows a group of boxers as they compete for a championship and how their families fare alongside them. In one show, I watched one of the underdog boxers said something that captivated my attention. He said, I am not the strongest. God bless my people. I am not the tallest. He said, I am not the most courageous. He said, but the thing that puts me above everybody else is that I have a mind of a champion. I feel like having some church tonight. He said, other people get in the ring, other people get frustrated, and even others lose the fight. But he said, but I keep my mind focused. Even though my opponent is bigger than I am, even though he is stronger, and even though he's taller than I am, I remind myself that if I win over my mind, I will win over my body. I wish you would just tell somebody, if you can win over your mind, you'll be able to win over your body. This is a great testimony that is over the discipline of the believer. Got a whole lot of people that go to church, but they don't always practice discipline. So many times we hear our youth leaders talk to And there is something that you are fighting within your life. And the Lord wants us to have a heart to fight. I'm going to say that one more time. The Lord wants us to have a heart to fight. What are you talking about, Brother Hutchins? It's not enough to show up with your body. Because the discipline that you've got to have should help you override your temptation. When you see the temptation coming, you should have some discipline. And no matter how good she looks, and no matter how nice he talks to you, and no matter how many dollars you can make doing the wrong thing, it's not worth it. Because I know I've got to do it God's way. Don't you just tell somebody around you, you got to do it God's way. Well, after Jesus' baptism, the Bible said that Jesus was led by the Spirit into a neighboring wilderness. The Bible was that purposeful that he might be tempted of the devil. The Bible said that Jesus Christ was tempted by the devil throughout his entire ministry. So many of you think that because you get saved, you're not going to be tempted. I'm not going to say nothing to you. Sometimes you think because you go to church more than other people that you're not going to be tempted. And you think because you've gotten involved that the enemy is not going to bother you. But the devil is a liar. Tell somebody you are the devil's worst nightmare. Every time you come to church, the devil can't stand the fact that you're in church instead of being out with your friends. The enemy says you are my worst nightmare because you decided to get saved when everybody else in your family is going every now and then and being saved when it's popular. But as soon as something goes wrong, you can't find them coming to church. You can't find them praying. You can't find them focused on what God has called them to do. Tell somebody I'm the devil's worst nightmare. You got to understand that Jesus was tempted by the devil throughout his entire ministry. Notice what the Bible says in Hebrews chapter 4 verse 15. It says, but we have one. Can I preach to somebody tonight? But we have one who has been tempted in every way. Just as we are. Tell somebody you're not the only one. He has been tempted in every way. Just as we are. But it doesn't stop there. It says, yet was without sin. Tell somebody you can make it. And you can do it God's way. The temptations of Jesus were very real. The same chapter of Hebrews 18 verse says, because he himself suffered when he was tempted